I expected to find beautifully restored historic cars. What I didn't expect was to discover forgotten manufacturers, remarkable survivors, and some truly incredible stories hidden behind the vehicles themselves. Among the 140 exhibits in Salamanca's Vehicle History Museum were a car abandoned in a chicken coop, a luxury limousine that became an ambulance, and marks that have almost disappeared from history. These are the vehicles that stood out to me, not simply because of how they looked, but because of the hidden histories they revealed. The story begins at the very dawn of motoring in Spain. Imagine seeing a carriage travelling down the road without a single horse pulling it. At the end of the 19th century, the idea seemed almost unbelievable. The museum reports that one local boy was even punished after insisting that he had seen exactly that. The vehicle responsible was this extraordinary Bonet. Built in 1899, it became one of Spain's earliest motor cars and a symbol of a remarkable new age when the arrival of the automobile blurred the line between engineering and what many believed was pure fantasy. One of the museum's greatest treasures is this magnificent 1922 Hispano-Suiza 3040 HP. During the early 20th century, Hispano-Suiza earned a reputation for building luxury cars that rivaled the very best in the world, including Rolls-Royce. Built to order for the Marquis of Thias, this example was considered so historically important that the Spanish Ministry of the Interior stepped in to buy it at a public auction in 1988, preventing it from leaving the country. In doing so, it became the first automobile ever granted National Heritage Protection in Spain, an honour normally reserved for historic buildings, monuments, and works of art. Its lavish cabin reflects that prestige, featuring fine woods, beveled glass, perfume diffusers, and even ivory and silver trimmed seating. Today, it remains the undisputed crown jewel of the museum's collection. If the Hispano-Suiza is the museum's crown jewel, this bright little 1924 Salmson may be its foundation stone. Although the French marque has largely faded from memory, Salmson built a reputation for producing innovative, sporting and touring cars during the 1920s. This particular example has lived an extraordinary life. During the Spanish Civil War, its owner walled it up to prevent it from being requisitioned. After the war, it returned to the road, carrying passengers between nearby villages. In 1963, it was acquired by Demetrio Gomez, becoming the very first vehicle in what would grow into today's Gomez Planche collection. Without this little Salmson, the museum itself might never have existed. While Hispano-Suiza proved Spain could rival the world's finest luxury cars, no name carried greater prestige than Rolls-Royce. This 1922 Silver Ghost was originally owned by an aristocratic family, but its hidden history took a remarkable turn. In 1946, it was purchased by Spain's national railway company, Renfe, converted into an ambulance and used to transport patients between Madrid and the railway hospital in Jaén. According to Renfe's records, it covered more than 1 million kilometers before retiring from service. Restored to its original Hooper coachwork by Demetrio Gomez in 1970, it reminds us that even one of the world's most prestigious luxury cars can have a history defined not by privilege, but by service. From luxury to lightweight performance, this little Amilcar shows a very different side of 1920s motoring. The 1925 Amilcar CS was a lightweight French sports car built for enthusiastic drivers. Its 1-litre engine could propel the tiny car to around 100 km per hour. Impressive performance for its day. But its hidden story isn't about speed. The museum says this example remains in completely original condition after being found abandoned in a chicken coop. Rather than being restored to better than new condition, it still wears the marks of its past, making it one of the most authentic survivors in the collection. Few Ford Model Ts reached Spain before Ford's production line revolution, making survivors like this especially rare. This 1911 example was imported for a man from Béjar, but he died before it was delivered, and his widow never drove it. Its story could have ended there. Instead, a later owner rebuilt it into this striking speedster, fitting it with a sporting differential and even competed with it. But its hidden history still wasn't over. By 1968, the chassis had been reused as a platform for a Holy Week procession float, while the mechanical components and bodywork were later rediscovered on the original property. Reunited and restored, it tells the story of a car whose chassis lived a second life while the rest of it quietly waited to be rediscovered. Our final hidden history belongs to one of Spain's greatest sports cars, the 1955 Pegaso Z-102. This isn't the car that first left the factory. After the original was destroyed in an accident, Pegaso supplied a new chassis. The mechanical components were transferred across, and Pedro Serra created a completely new body. That unexpected rebuild made history. It became the first Pegaso bodied by Serra, a design so successful that Anasa later commissioned him to build an entire series. From one devastating crash came one of Spain's most influential sports car designs. Those were the 7 vehicles whose hidden histories stood out to me the most. But with around 140 exhibits spread across 3 floors, there were many other fascinating cars that also deserve a quick mention. The Théophile Schneider is one of the few surviving examples of a French marque that disappeared almost a century ago, making it a rare glimpse into an almost forgotten chapter of motoring history. The Berliet MGB caught my attention with its elegant coachwork and unusual wicker seats, an unexpected touch that perfectly captures the style of the early motoring era. The Citroën Rosalie became famous for proving its reliability through record-breaking endurance runs, helping establish Citroën's reputation for dependable engineering. This elegant Hispano-Suiza 16 HP reminds us that the company built far more than prestigious luxury limousines, producing beautifully engineered touring cars as well. The Clúa 500 represents another chapter in Spain's automotive story, an ambitious attempt to revive the country's tradition of building distinctive sports cars. And finally, this Hispano-Suiza HS-21 GTS shows that Spanish automotive ambition didn't end with the classics. More than a century after the Bonet, Spain is still dreaming big. It's impossible to do justice to every vehicle in Salamanca's remarkable museum in this single short video, but I hope these hidden histories have given you a taste of what makes this collection so special. If you ever find yourself in the city, it's a museum that's well worth adding to your itinerary.